the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. This is Carolina Week.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for the February 14th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Bridget Williams.
And I'm Brooke Baldwin. We're proud to be bringing you coverage of Carolina news and events. Two student body presidential candidates are gearing up for a runoff and another intense week. Carolina Week's Holly Hedrick says it was an intense day and night for all 7 candidates on Tuesday.
Students spent all day voting for who they felt was the best qualified candidate for student body president. More than 5,000 students cast their votes on the new online system. The number of voters almost doubled the number from last year's election. Candidate Caleb Ritter says he's pleased with the new voting system.
I think it gives more people the opportunity to vote. People will more likely go vote because it's not out of their way and it doesn't take much time.
It also didn't take much time to tally the votes. Students assembled when voting ended at 10 p.m., and candidate Eric Johnson said he was relieved.
It was hardcore, intense all day long from 5 a.m. onward, so it's kind of tiring, but overall, it was an absolute blast.
We're gathered here in Peabody Hall where candidates and their staffs are anxiously counting down the last 5 minutes until the student body president winner is announced. And when the waiting was over and the results were in, nervous candidates looked on as the votes were read. Excitement wasn't the emotion for every candidate, but Eric Johnson and Justin Young happily accepted the opportunity to compete in a runoff.
I feel really excited. I feel energized. I get the adrenaline flow and everything. This is just unbelievable. I'm so happy to be in the runoff.
This is just an incredible moment right now, and I just want to take that momentum and continue and grow from there.
Johnson and Young are good friends and say no matter who wins, they'll work together to get things done. In Chapel Hill, I'm Holly Hedrick, Carolina Week.
In addition to student body president, candidates in 2 other races will be in Tuesday's runoff election. In the contest for Carolina Athletic Association president, Reed Cheney received 2,585 votes, and Michael Songer had 2,453 votes. So they're in a runoff. And we almost knew who the next senior class president and vice president will be, but nobody got a majority, though Ben Singer and Ursula Dimling came close. Next week, they'll face Josh Balin and Eugene Kim.
Fare-free busing is one step closer to coming to Chapel Hill. Students voted overwhelmingly to pass a referendum on Tuesday's ballot approving fare-free busing. Students who gathered to hear election results offered a mixed reaction to the announcement that the referendum passed, but the majority of voters enthusiastically supported fare-free busing. By saying yes to the referendum, students agreed to pay an extra $8.49 each semester to allow free service for anyone wanting to ride on Chapel Hill Transit Authority. UNC would pay 40% of the busing costs. The towns of Chapel Hill and Carborough would pay the remaining 60%. And now city officials have to decide if that's what they want to do. Students may also start paying more for on-campus parking violations at UNC if the Board of Trustees approves the changes in March. The Department of Public Safety has proposed the changes, which include raising the cost of towing fees and tickets for cars parked in lots reserved for fans attending athletic contests. DPS plans to address this problem by closing off certain lots the night before sporting events. DPS officials say they won't make a profit from the recommended increases in fees. They say the increases will just help them break even.
All week long, students at Carolina are taking part in a national campaign called V-Day. It's a program designed to raise awareness about sexual violence against women. Several people supporting this campaign gathered to view a slideshow depicting various types of pornography. Individuals attending the lecture were warned beforehand that the slides were very graphic and that they might find them controversial. Afterward, the group talked about whether viewing pornography makes some men more likely to be violent toward women. Events for V-Day will continue all week long and are open to the public. Violence against women is an important topic. Police reports suggested a sex offender going after UNC students may have used the internet to find his targets. Carolina Week's Courtney Quinn looks into student safety on the web.
Convicted felon Dwayne Russell Edwards faces 58 felony counts in Carborough alone. The charges include sexual assault, kidnapping, and even rape. Before Edwards was arrested for the assault of a UNC student, he was employed by the university. It's unsettling that a university employee would attack a student, but the information that Edwards may have used to find his victims is available to anyone with internet access. Students' names, local addresses, and phone numbers are automatically available, even to those off campus, through the online campus directory. You can remove your personal information by contacting the registrar's office or by going online to the student personal information page. UNC senior Margie Wakeland says she'll keep her personal information available on the web, but she has thought of taking it off.
I think a lot of women have thought about it before, just because there are these cases where people do find you and seek you out. Even if it's in a harmless way, it still makes you feel uncomfortable.
Police officer J.G. Booker says that what you feel is important to deciding what kind of action to take.
Through 10 years of investigations, I've had many victims and survivors tell me that they've had that feeling, but that they didn't trust their own instinct.
If you're worried you may be in danger, don't be afraid to voice your concerns to the police. In Carborough, I'm Courtney Quinn, Carolina Week.
The bottom line is, don't have the information online that you wouldn't want everyone to know.
Flowers, candy, and cards, all part of a traditional Valentine's Day celebration.
We'll tell you more about the holiday and how you can spend it dancing on the beach when Carolina Week continues.
Escucha Smokey antes de tratar.
Solo tú.
No juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego. No hay nada perturbable con el conejo asustado o un pobre ratón sin casa en que vivir. Si un hermoso bosque es lo que deseas, no juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego.
Solo tú puedes prevenir los fuegos forestales.
¡Fuego!
Wilson Library receive no sunshine on early winter mornings, so it's chilly there if you don't have that double-shot caramel espresso. Surrounded by forever green magnolias, the steps are a fine place to study, or at least pretend to, while you watch a border collie chase a frisbee in the quad. No one knows the real Carolina like a student. Carolina Week, the student news show.
Valentine's Day is a procrastinator's dream, and though Chapel Hill businesses have experienced Cupid's high, Carolina Week's Christine Elliott says some students are feeling a little low.
Local stores like the University Florist, A Southern Season, and Whims are all finishing up the Valentine's Day rush. A Southern Season's confectioner Joyce Fowler says the store will stay open extra hours.
We're open on Valentine's Day till 7 in the evening, but of course, I recall last Valentine's Day we were here till probably 9 o'clock taking care of the last stragglers.
And at the University Florist, many UNC students were searching for flowers on Monday, hoping to get orders in on time for Valentine's Day deliveries. UNC freshman Parker Page says he and his girlfriend have dated for 4 years, and
it's still a requisite that I give flowers and maybe a small present, take her out to dinner, whatnot.
But senior Amanda Talton says Valentine's Day is not for everyone.
In that one day, like, you're divided into two different categories. Either you have someone to spend the day with or you don't.
And while some students will be getting cards that say, "To the one I love," others will be getting ones that say, "In honor of Valentine's Day, I'm writing a poem about my love life." What rhymes with gargoyles?
We've had a couple girls come in and buy some rather funny cards about being single.
In fact, even residence halls are having events for singles, like the anti-Valentine's Day party on Tuesday night. It's true that some don't have a special someone to share the day with, but then again, there's nothing like the comfort of good chocolate. In Chapel Hill, I'm Christine Elliott, Carolina Week.
Even if you don't have a Valentine, you might still enjoy some fun facts about the holiday. In 1997, greeting card publishers shipped $200 million worth of Valentine's Day cards. Many flowers for the holiday come from Colombia, South America. It was more than $300 million worth in the year 2000. And the sweet tooth we all seem to have isn't confined to Valentine's Day. In 1999, Americans consumed an average of 26 pounds of candy.
If you're not familiar with this type of dancing, your definition of shag may be a little different from the way Austin Powers uses the word. For some UNC students, shagging is a dance and a way of life. Beach music fills the room as members of the Carolina Shag Dance Club meet to kick off their shoes and learn some new steps. It may not be summer yet, but shaggers say the dance allows you to experience the beach even in the middle of winter. The club offers lessons for the beginner as well as tips for expert shaggers. Members meet once a month with or without partners in hopes of preserving the historic dance. Club member Jonathan Shaw says shagging is challenging but fun.
It never really was meant to be anything that was anything but absolutely fun. So it's just kind of one of those kick back, stand in between your shoes, beer or Coke in your right hand and go for it.
If you'd like more information about the UNC Shag Club, contact Sarah Rouche at roueche@email.unc.edu. Downloading free music off the internet may soon become a luxury of the past. A federal appeals court ruled Monday that Napster must stop millions of users from exchanging copyrighted music on the internet. But workers at local record stores say Napster doesn't deter customers from buying their CDs. In fact, some store employees say Napster has helped their sales. Regular CD sales have remained the same since Napster was developed, and sales of blank CDs have increased. Blank CDs are used for recording music off the internet. Jonathan Shepard is an employee at School Kids Records on Franklin Street. He says Napster doesn't hurt his sales at his stores.
Being a local independent store doesn't really we get a lot of stuff that's not really what you're going to see on Napster.
Napster officials say they plan to start a membership-based service and charge subscription fees starting next summer.
Carolina Dialysis is continuing its tradition of making life easier for Triangle patients. This time it's working from its new location off Smith Level Road in Chapel Hill. Here's the typical scene for people undergoing dialysis. They come several times a week, 3 to 4 hours each trip. A machine acts as their kidneys, filtering toxins from their blood. Patients need dialysis when their kidneys fail from high blood pressure, diabetes, and other diseases. So far, 100 patients hook up in-house. For all of them, though, dialysis means a lifestyle change. They say the center gives them support, but it's still hard. The UNC-Chapel Hill School of Journalism and Mass Communication is proud of its many distinguished alumni. One of them happens to be a CBS insider who recently came back to Chapel Hill to share some experiences. Producer for CBS's 60 Minutes 2, Dragan Mihalovic, gave the annual Nelson Benton Lecture titled An Insider Speaks. The class of 1983 alumnus and Chapel Hill native credits a strong work ethic and good luck for his career with CBS in New York. Mihalovic is a winner of 5 Emmy Awards and has worked 6 Olympic Games as a researcher and a producer. Surprisingly, he has some pretty simple instructions for those seeking success.
Be curious. I think you want to read the newspaper, follow what's going on in the world, don't live in a cocoon. And I think the most important thing also is learn how to write. I mean, it's a skill that's going to take you far.
The late Nelson Benton is another distinguished alumnus who, like Mihalovic, worked for CBS. His career spanned more than 20 years. Friends and family created the lecture series in Benton's honor. Well, gray skies and chilly temperatures are making this Valentine's Day less than lovely.
Carolina Week's Kelly Mahoney is here to let us know if the weekend looks a little brighter.
Well, we're not in the clear quite yet, but the weekend shouldn't be a washout. I'll be back in just a minute to let you know when the sun will finally reappear.
When it comes to babies, appearances can be deceiving. Look at this brainwave. Very active. And this one, not doing much. You make the difference by reading, singing, and talking from birth. Studies prove it. An early start. Now that's smart.
Every 18 minutes, another name is added to the list of persons waiting for life-saving organs. In North Carolina, your decision to donate will not be carried out unless your legal next of kin gives consent at the time of your death, even if you've indicated it on your driver's license with a red heart. Share your life, share your decision, so that your wishes may be carried out for you, and someone else's wish can come true.
Well, the North Carolina weather certainly is fickle. It's one day it's 50 degrees and the next day it's 70.
Yeah, I can't figure out if I want to wear shorts or a sweater or both.
Well, yeah, this week especially, it certainly has been a mixed bag, that's for sure. But that's pretty typical for this time of the year. We're in a transition period, so. And we'll take a look at what our weather's going to be like for the next couple of days in just a second. But first, I have a weather question, a festive weather question. It has something a little to do with Valentine's Day. One of these love songs is not a real weather-related love song. See if you can tell me if it is A, Like the Rain, B, Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone, C, It's Raining Men, or D, Blame It on the Freezing Rain. So see if you can narrow those choices down, and we'll come back to that in just a little bit. But getting back to that bad weather we've been seeing lately, puddles are dampening campus, and gray skies and dreary conditions are making students walk to class less than pleasant. So it has been a mixed bag, though, and we'll see what that means for your weekend forecast in just a second. But if this break from the spring tease has got you thinking about your spring break destination ideas, I have a little bit of information for you about some average highs and some popular spring break destinations. If you're heading out to Charleston, South Carolina, not too far away, but it'll be a nice 69 degrees in about the mid-March time frame. If you're heading all the way to Cancun, Mexico, you can expect a pleasant temperature of 86 degrees. Honolulu, Hawaii, pretty far. Again, 81 degrees though. Miami, Florida checks in with a March average high of 79 degrees. And Panama City, Florida with 81. Now, if you're staying here in Chapel Hill, you might want to keep your jackets and sweaters out, as our average high is only about 61 come mid-March. If we take a look at our surface map this week, you can see this region of unsettled weather is bringing us all this kind of strange weather we've been having. We started out the week with some frozen precipitation, and it's gotten warmer and colder and warmer and colder. But once these two lows finally make it off the coast, we do have the dome of high pressure building in behind it, which will bring us cooler but drier conditions. So that's what is coming up for our weekend forecast, and this is what it looks like. On Friday, we'll expect a high of about 64 degrees before it starts to cool down on Saturday. Now, all the rain should be out of here by about Friday night into Saturday morning, and a breeze should pick up as we kind of usher in some cooler temperatures. You can see the lows starting to dip down into the 20s by Sunday night, and come Monday, we'll have some mostly sunny skies and highs about 50 again, which is pretty typical for this time of the year. Now, if you're looking to get off campus this weekend and head down to the beach, Saturday looks a little iffy. Some rain in the morning and into the early parts of the afternoon, a high of 62, and things cool down a little bit on Sunday, a high of 55. If you are heading out the other way to the mountains, 49 on Saturday with once again some rain, but that should taper off in the early part of the day out in the mountains. And on Sunday, things cool down once again, just a high of 43, but all in all, not bad. And skiing, of course, is still an option at this time of the year. Many slopes are still open and out with some snow and a lot of options. So Appalachian checks in with 9 trails, Cataloochee with 8, and Sugar Mountain's still up with 20. So not bad.
The weather question.
The weather question.
Well,
some of those songs I don't think were out when I was born.
That's true. There's some classics in there, but that's all right.
I think I would go with Blaming It on the Freezing Rain, though Blame It on the Rain wasn't even such a legit song.
Yeah, you mean
anyway.
You haven't heard the Milli Vanilli remix of Freezing Rain? No, of course, that one was the fake one, but the other ones are real, so tune in. It's Valentine's Day.
Excellent. Great. Thanks, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Well, Carolina Week's Devin Big S is here with sports.
Devin, how long is the men's basketball team going to stay at #1?
Well, we'll see. We got 4 more games, and March Madness is right around the corner. And the men's basketball team is doing very, very well, thank you very much. We'll have more about that. And going to break, here's the AP Top 10 board. Carolina at #1 and Duke remain 3rd. Michigan State rounds out the top 5. Turning to 6 through 10, Kansas leads the second 5. Besides Carolina and Duke, there are not any ACC teams left in the top 10.
The Ronald McDonald House is a nonprofit organization that provides a home away from home for families of children being treated at UNC hospitals. Since opening in 1988, the house has welcomed more than 1,000 families each year to stay at this safe haven. The house relies heavily on community support. How can you help? Become a volunteer. Help the house that love built. The Ronald McDonald House, the house with a heart.
Don't get mad at me. Don't. I didn't mean to do it, okay? Please.
I'm
just don't get mad this time.
Questions. Why are you jumping to conclusions?
Please.
I haven't done anything. I'm just asking you a few questions.
Stop hitting her!
You pitiful.
Stop it! No!
Change is possible. Call the Family Counseling Service at 403-3534. We can help.
So, Devin, how long, how are the Heels going to stay at #1?
So, 4 more games to go. I think we're all ready for some March Madness around here.
It'll certainly be exciting when Duke comes March 4th to Chapel Hill, maybe 1 versus 2 in the country. The men's basketball team is still the top team in the country this week, despite playing a tough ACC schedule. Heels hosting the Maryland Terrapins. It's all about a football player, and we're not talking about Ronald Curry. Julius Pepper's here with the finger roll, giving him 2 of his career-high 18 points. Pepper started for the ailing Chris Lang and was tough in the paint. Jason Capel is on fire from behind the line. He breaks his career high of 27 points. After a slow start and only a 1-point halftime lead, the Heels dominate the second half, trouncing the Terrapins 96-82. The Heels' next play at Clemson. Even though it's only the middle of February, spring sports are in full swing. And in the spirit of Valentine's Day, the Diamond was a great gift to the Heels as they hosted Coastal Carolina on Tuesday. The Heels jumped out to an early 6-0 lead, but were up 6-4 in the 8th inning. Jason Howell got the Heels rolling again with this RBI single. On the day, Howell finishes with 3 hits. He also earned the Versatility Award by picking up the save as the Heels went on to win 9-4. In the opening series of the year, the Tar Heels score 5 runs in the final 3 innings to take the victory to 7-6 against James Madison University. Here, down 2 runs, Jeremy Cleveland leads off the bottom of the 9th with his double off the wall. 2 batters later, with the bases juiced, Rush Adams ropes a triple down the first baseline to plate all 3 runs, including the game winner by Adam Greenberg. The day before, UNC took game 1 of the series 23-9 in a football score. Carolina coach Mike Fox believes each win is key for his young team.
This was a great start for us, and I know our guys are going to get confident every game we win, and that's important for a young team.
When most people in the area think about ice, school closings and bus delays come to mind. But some UNC students have a different take on ice. That's right, Carolina has an ice hockey team. Many people are surprised to hear it, but the Tar Heels lace up their skates and love it when it ices in Chapel Hill. Might not be the best known sport at UNC, but co-captain Mike Hyland says this team is for real.
It's a real league, it's real competition, it's real hockey. It's not just people skating around, just having fun. We do have fun, but it's real competitive hockey.
August Jenkins, the other co-captain, says that hockey and Carolina are 2 words that you usually don't hear together.
A lot of people, when we're traveling, just wonder what it was that, that we had. They would say, what is that? You'd be in the elevator and they'll tell you, you tell them it's a hockey stick.
And when someone does say hockey in Chapel Hill, usually the person means field hockey. But these guys play on the cold stuff.
A lot of people think we also play on a field, and we play on real ice. It's not glass. It's, it makes snow and it's cold.
Like most teams at UNC, the club hockey team takes on rivals like Duke, State, and UVA. They go at each other in practice like they're playing Duke. Their home games are off campus at the Hillsborough Sportsplex, and they usually play games on late Friday nights. Highland says that's why they don't have more fans at games.
Most people want to do something else, go out to a party, do something with their friends rather than come out to Hillsborough to watch us play ice hockey.
Most of the players on this team are from out of state, and maybe soon other players will come to UNC to work on their slap shots and not their jump shots. The Tar Heel hockey team finished the regular season 9-12. The players are awaiting word for postseason play. Spring sports starting to kick up. The basketball thing getting towards March. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, that story just now, I didn't know that, ice hockey was, building up around here.
It's really a fast-growing sport in the South these days, isn't it?
A lot of professional teams coming. Atlanta has one, we have one, and Tampa Bay has one as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Devin.
Thanks, Devin. Most Carolina students know that Hinton James is a residence hall on South Campus.
But do they know the story of who it was named after? We'll have that for you when Carolina Week continues.
What is United Cerebral Palsy? Therapy and education. Employment opportunities. Independent living. Family camp. United Cerebral Palsy. Building bridges to independence. You see people, we see promise. Call 800-868-3787.
Hey, Mark, where are you going with your piggy bank? I'm going to give my allowance to the Interfaith Council. Why? Mom says they help people, and they need our help, too.
The Interfaith Council helps adults and children through job training, family support, and education. They can't survive without community support. Every donation counts.
I want to help, too.
Call the Interfaith Council at 929-6380.
And I can definitely get that picture to you. I tell you what, I'll send it out in the morning. Okay, bye-bye.
Hi, sweetheart. How you hearing today, huh? Good. Because I don't think you heard me yesterday when we decided that you are not to have business in this house. You have family. Where are your kids?
Upstairs, Jim.
James, shouldn't you be in that kitchen cooking my dinner right now? Because that's your job. Do it.
This woman may not have any cuts or bruises, but she's still scarred.
UNC-Chapel Hill is proud to call itself the nation's first state university.
And of course, what would the university be without its students, one of whom had to walk 150 miles to get here? Hinton James was the university's first student arriving on campus on February 12, 1795, after walking all the way from Wilmington. In celebration of this special student, as well as the university's current students, the General Alumni Association sponsored a free lunch in the Great Hall on Monday. Even Hinton James himself made a special guest appearance on campus, though he couldn't seem to get over how much the university's changed compared to how it was in the beginning.
Lunch? Is anyone having lunch? Lunch? Free lunch? Anyone interested in a free lunch? This campus was mud, red clay, tree stumps, one two-story building, the unfinished house of the presiding president, and not one student had arrived. And so I am the first, after a long and arduous journey from Wilmington, North Carolina, 150 miles. I am stunned by what I see.
When he's not busy playing the part of Hinton James, Freddie Kiger works as a writer for ESPN and teaches American history at UNC and in local high schools. He's a really interesting man, and he even has worked with Dragan Mihailovic with the Olympics.
I wonder how he got the job as Hinton James in person.
He knows a lot of history, so I'm sure that helped him. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you for joining us, and be sure to come back next week. Until then, have a good night and a good week.
Good night.
Idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at ibiblio.org/CW. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.